Hello and welcome as we continue this journey toward the fifth Sunday after Pentecost, June the 27th, 2021. And again, an invitation if you would like to give feedback or ask a question, you can do so in the comment section below the video, either on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook page. And I will be notified that there is a comment or question there. And we could have a little dialogue if you like. Also, encourage you to invite others to watch these and maybe helpful for them, or maybe they have questions as well. So today we will be looking at the Psalm for Sunday, the fifth Sunday after Pentecost, which is Psalm number 30. I will read that for you and then share with you some of the thoughts that I've gathered or reflections that I've gathered for today. I will exalt you, O Lord, because you have lifted me up and have not let my enemies triumph over me. O Lord my God, I cried out to you and you restored me to health. You brought me up, O Lord, from the dead. You restored my life as I was going down to the grave. Sing praise to the Lord, all you faithful. Give thanks in holy remembrance. God's wrath is short. God's favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping spends the night, but joy comes in the morning. When I felt secure, I said, I shall never be disturbed. You, Lord, with your favor, made me as strong as the mountains. Then you hid your face, and I was filled with fear. I cried to you, O Lord. I pleaded with my Lord, saying, what profit is there in my blood if I go down to the pit? Will the dust praise you or declare your faithfulness? Hear, O Lord, and have mercy upon me. O Lord, be my helper. You have turned my wailing into dancing. You have put off my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. Therefore, my heart sings to you without ceasing. O Lord my God, I will give you thanks forever. Here ends the psalm. Thanks be to God. In the Bible, I use the introduction, or maybe the subtitle for Psalm 30 says, a song at the dedication of the temple. So today's reading frames the struggles of life, especially a life of faith, in the glorious structure of the Jerusalem temple. The temple was a Jewish icon of faith, the faithfulness of God, and the worship of the Jewish people. The temple was believed to be the place where the worshipers met with God, God's enduring presence. Now, it did not mean that God was restricted to that temple, rather that the worshipers could go to that temple and know that they were in the presence of God. The temple, therefore, carries its own liturgical rhythms, if you will, and becomes the spiritual structure fashioned by those who sing God's praises in every generation. It would also explain why so many of us were anxious to return to in-person worship as we are moving forward from outside of the pandemic. We know somewhere in our mind that the church is not a building. Yet the building where we worship carries an emotional, a spiritual rhythm that serves to enhance our experience of God. Verse 3 expresses some of those emotional and spiritual feelings of restoration with these words. You brought me up, O Lord, from the dead. You restored my life as I was going down to the grave. Psalm 30 refers explicitly to Sheol, or as it's sometimes called, the pit. These are images for the spiritually inactive arena of a dusty kind of shadow life that awaits all of the dead. The center of today's reading is healing, which is different from a cure. Verse 2 reads, "O Lord my God, I cried out to you, and you restored me to health." This ability to cry out to God and receive healing makes the veil between this life, with its pragmatic challenges of sickness and hostility, and the underworld, that Sheol or pit, that exists outside of human time, a little more transparent for us to see through the veil. Life feels sometimes like chaos and meaninglessness are pressing in on every side, threatening those who wish to flourish. Flourish being defined as being able to grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way. And this speaks to Redeemer's second part of the mission statement: grow in faith. Life, whether good or bad, brings opportunities to develop and grow, that is, to flourish. Verses 4 and 5 call us to join corporate worship. Sing praise to the Lord, all you faithful. Give thanks in holy remembrance. God's favor lasts a lifetime. Favor may not be defined as we want it to be, especially if you think that favor means God gives you whatever you desire in terms of money or material possessions or health or happiness. When I think about God's favor as it is described in the Bible, I remember the angel's words at the pronouncement of Jesus' birth. "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God." I might be willing to wager that birthing the Word made flesh, the very Son of God, was not the life Mary imagined for herself. Simeon prophesied to Mary as, "A sword will pierce your own soul too." Verse 7 from today's reading says, "You, Lord, with your favor, made me as strong as the mountains." God's favor does not mean life will be easy, although it does provide strength as the chaos and the meaninglessness presses in on every side. This is not boasting. This is not false confidence. It gives credit to God's favor for the ability for us to stand fast. We are called to challenge our feelings of abandonment or forsakenness with our shouts of praise. Imagine this ending of today's psalm, verses 11 and 12, being shouted out of the depths of anguish, despair, pain, sorrow, and so on. Here's what those verses say. "You have turned my wailing into dancing. You have put off my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. Therefore, my heart sings to you without ceasing. O Lord my God, I will give you thanks forever." This too is faith. Those are liturgical terms which we are led to perceive the temple as both literal and spiritual. Psalm 30 dedicates holy space in the mortal life of the believer, which is filled with good times as well as bad times, and in the sacred space of eternity from which God offers healing. Faith is lived in a dance of mourning and rejoicing. We praise God in times of joy and desolation alike, for we testify to an incarnate Lord, the Word made flesh, who struggled with temptation in the desert and cried out his despair on the cross. Thank you for joining me again today as we continue this journey along toward the 5th Sunday after Pentecost, June the 27th, 2021. Again, I invite you to leave comments or questions below in the comments section, either on the YouTube page or on our Facebook page. I hope you're having a great day. Take care, and God bless.